what's going on? Okay, so still hate my job. Nothing's changed there. Cannot stand it. Took a little break because of how stressful this shithole's become. Actually, it's just this obnoxious hellhole that I cannot stand. But I decided to put together my first how-to video for this course, and or not course, but this channel, and it's about developing ideas for your first Udemy course and how I came up with sub-niches myself. And the idea is to find a really broad topic on Udemy where there's a lot of searches, and then dig in and find sub-niche ideas so there's no competition for your course topic. And so as a new instructor, you can begin to build a following and sell some courses of your own without being freaked out or worried that, oh my God, something's going to happen, or this isn't going to work, or how do I do this, and everything else. So over the course of the next 16 minutes or so, you're going to get a breakdown on that process, and I'm going to show you right over the shoulder how I came up with my first 2 course ideas. And mind you, those courses right now are doing about $1,100 a month, so it's going pretty well for me. I think it'll go pretty well for you. Watch the video. Let me know if you have any comments or any questions in the comments section below. I'll do my best to answer them. I may not get to them all, but hey, it's worth a shot, right? So here you go. Next 16 minutes, you're going to see exactly how I came up with my first ideas for Udemy courses that have done about $1,100 a month for the past 2 months. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to get a lot of value out of it. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, welcome to this portion of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how exactly I came up with my first 2 niche ideas for courses. And this is really important in what I found success with on Udemy, which is simply, you don't have a large following if you only have 1 course, or you don't have any courses. Like, how do you get started? How do you get started with a course idea that will be easy for you to not only create, but then you carve out a market for yourself, right? My first 2 courses are very niche. The first one was about flipping things that you buy locally on eBay, and nobody else on Udemy is teaching that. And the second course was how to run an Instagram account for business, and once again, nobody else is teaching that. And they're both things that I know very well. I ran an Instagram account for a $20 million business, and I worked in the pawn industry for years, so to say that I was familiar with flipping things would be an understatement. So that's the first thing. Think about things that you're familiar with or that you really know well, because if you try and create a course just out of nowhere with no real background in the topic, you're going to have trouble, and it's not going to be authentic, and you're not going to provide the kind of value that you really should be focusing on providing the students that you sell courses to, number one, and definitely as your first students, because you want to try and build a following, right? So how do I do this? Well, when you have your Instagram account, or not Instagram, but your, you can tell where I'm going already, your Udemy account, and you're an instructor, you have your courses and all this, well, you have the Marketplace Insights. And essentially what this does is, if you type in an idea, and I already said it earlier, so you knew where I was going with it, right? And you type in like a general seed keyword, let's say it's Instagram marketing. Okay, the reason I'm using this is because it's super competitive, right? But if you sell a lot, like, wow, you're gonna do real well. But it's in the 97th percentile of the most frequently searched terms on Udemy. So basically, there's only 3% of searches that are really higher than this, as far as my understanding. And these are kind of some of the main topics of interest that have to do with it, Instagram for business, things along those lines. Well, I chose Instagram for business, but I drilled down even more specifically. I went Instagram for business selling on Instagram. I really kind of drilled a narrow tunnel. But the idea is you want to maybe search around about some things Let's say you know Twitter really well, right? And Twitter marketing just awesome. You're great at it. Once again, it's super competitive. It's super highly searched. It's not as popular as Instagram, but it's way, way up there. It's a niche I'm looking at. Let's say you don't know anything about Twitter. Let's say it's blogging. Let's say you know a lot about blogging, right? So once again, whole lot of stuff. It's just under Instagram. You know, what you want is in this search volume. I always shoot for like 40 or 50% or higher. I don't look at anything that's lower than that. I think this is a good goal, right? So that's where I'm looking at. And but where do I get it? Where do I go from here? Like, how do I drill in? How do I figure it out? How do I niche down from blogging or Twitter or Instagram? Well, I go right to Google. And you know, basically we all know how auto suggest works, right? So let's say you just type in Instagram. Okay, there's auto suggestions, right? But let's say you type in, you know, how to Instagram. Okay, now there's more suggestions. But, you know, let's go how to, all of a sudden you notice how to block someone on Instagram, how to live on Instagram. You start seeing that Google begins to fill in the suggestions into place because your sentence doesn't make much sense. So we want to throw another space in there, right? Okay, and you can do this with anything. It doesn't have to be Instagram. It could be Twitter. Let's go to Twitter, since that's not one I have a course on, and maybe you're more familiar with Twitter than Instagram. Okay, so let's just type in A, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to go A, B, C, D, just so you have an idea what we're doing. But let's go back to A. So how to A space on Twitter. And what Google's going to do is they're going to try and figure out what you're asking. And they're going to figure out what you're asking based on the most frequently searched terms. So if a lot of people are searching for these things, you know, these solutions on Google, it stands to reason that people are looking for a solution to this problem, and some may be willing to pay for that solution. And so since we know that Twitter, for instance, is a very, or Twitter marketing specifically, is a very frequently searched topic, 83% is, you know, that's high. And we can make some money at it. So, you know, we know that people on Udemy are looking to solve Twitter problems. So we're going to go to Google to see what problems are out there. So we don't want to find something that's easy, like how to, you're not going to make a Udemy course on how to delete a Twitter account or verify account or be anonymous. Like, you're not going to sell, I mean, maybe anonymous, but it'd probably be a waste of time. But we're going to look to see, let's say you have a Twitter account that's verified, right? Maybe how to become verified on Twitter. I probably wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on it. How to be a celebrity on Twitter. Now that might be interesting. How to business on Twitter. That's really interesting to me because I already have a business course on Instagram. So if you knew how to run a business on Twitter, like, this would be, all of a sudden you have something here. You could maybe make a course about how to use Twitter for business to make sales. You know, extend it a little bit so that the people looking at your course and potentially buying your course know what they're going to get out of it. But let's just go ahead and keep that one in mind, see what else we have here. Yeah, nothing really great. Now, this is kind of off the beaten path, but I might say something like how to make sales through direct messages on Twitter. That might be interesting. Okay. I'm going to start skipping around here. All right, here's a great one. How to get free followers on Twitter, or how to get followers on Twitter. Like, you can make a huge course about how to get a following on Twitter. That would be awesome. But I bet there's already a lot of courses on Udemy about that. And here, if we go ahead and search and see what we have here, let's say, let's just type in how to get followers, Twitter. Let's see how many courses there are. I bet it's a lot. Yeah, see all these, lots of how to get followers and everything else. So I'd probably stay away from that one. But what if we did, you know, going back to that business example, Twitter for business. Okay. Now we have something here, because you see how everything's gotten niched off a little bit, how everybody's running some kind of like niche online Twitter business type class. Okay, automated online business. That wouldn't be one that I would make or sell, but you know, it's out there. If you want to do lead gen on business, there's a course for that. Back to followers, and then you go back to followers. So when you get to business, like business is pretty thin. There's really only 3 courses for business that rank well. So how about if we went a little bit further to make sales? Let's see here. And nothing. Well, increase sales 1,000%. That's kind of dumb. Here's another niche. What if you did course about, let's say, what if you had a Twitter account that you had previous experience with and it was like a check cashing place or a bar or something like that? Like, you could easily make a Twitter marketing course for that type of business on Udemy. It'd be very niche, it'd be very specific, there'd be no competition, yet Twitter itself is a large enough parent topic that you could make, a course on it and know that you're going to get a reasonable number of searches. So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's think about a business that's really large. And how about this? How about Twitter marketing? And let's think about businesses still. What kind of business is in almost every town, every city, every state, and there's a lot of them? Bars, right? So I wonder if there's anything out there for bars. Nothing. Okay. So that's a niche I might get into. And you could do that for anything. Plumbers. You develop these niche courses that are going to have no competition, and the sales aren't going to be huge. You're not going to be selling hundreds of these courses a day or anything, but you're going to be selling enough to kind of get a foothold and kind of get started. And, if you only sell 2 or 3, then you have a start and you're moving in the right direction. So moving on, let's say we keep with the Twitter marketing 4, right, for authors. I wonder how many there are for authors. So basically 1. So you see, now that's a perfect example. This is an auto-suggested topic on Udemy, meaning a lot of people are searching it, but there's only 1 course. How can there only be 1 course? Twitter for authors. How can there be 1 course? If that many people are searching it, why aren't people engaging with it? So then you have Twitter marketing for business, kind of like we were talking about before, is market your business on Twitter. But what I'm thinking is you remove that business and you niche down, you develop a course for specific business types, and you're going to find you have no competition then. And even better, let's say you had 20 courses, you make the first hour or 2 the basics of marketing on Twitter, and then towards the end of the course you begin to get into specifics about how to market that specific business. And what you're really doing here is you're taking a specific problem, okay, and this comes down to, we know that Twitter marketing in and of itself is highly searched, and we're finding a problem and we're creating a solution. And the idea here isn't to sell a ton of each course, at least not at first, but to create a whole bunch of niche solutions. And by creating these niche solutions, it'd be very easy to build a whole lot of courses and really kind of dominate a market. I mean, let's face it, if you had 20 courses just on Twitter marketing for various businesses, you'd become, by default, the Twitter marketing god of Udemy, and that's really kind of what we're getting into. And that's what I'm getting into, although I'm pitching a little bit higher because I have a vast amount of experience with marketing in general. But if you're looking for a way to come up with a niche course, solve a problem, create a course around that problem, and then solve it. So, and I'm just taking marketing because it's what I'm familiar with. Let's see if we can come up with something else. Let's try Etsy, something a little bit more crafty, right? Etsy marketing. Yeah. Let's see here. Etsy business. What's an Etsy business? What courses are currently there? How to grow your Etsy shop, how to build an easy, yada, yada, yada. Let's say you want to do, let's say you were on Etsy, right? And you're good at selling things that you already do currently. So let's say you did Etsy marketing for jewelry. Let's say you made like bee jewelry, right? No, we don't want marketing for jewelry. We want Etsy marketing for jewelry, so don't get tempted. Let's see if there's anything, because you know a lot of bee jewelry is sold on Etsy, and there's nothing. Nothing that specifically describes that. That's a niche to exploit. And let's see if we can go ahead and justify that Etsy marketing overall is a large enough parent topic to kind of really make it worthwhile to create a course around. Remember, I'm looking for 50% or higher. If it's below 50%, I'll move on to the next idea. Let's see what we got. Uh-oh, not good. Let's see how far Etsy is. Etsy itself is at 83. It's the 83rd most searched thing. I still think that's good enough. I still think that's good enough to make a course on. You know, oh, Etsy market. Of course, that won't be anything. I would still consider making some niche courses around that. And keep in mind, you can reuse material. So, you know, at 83 or 83rd search percentile for Etsy, I'm good with that. And you know, so you have a couple hours on the basics of Etsy, like let's say Etsy SEO, how you optimize your listing so it ranks well in Etsy, and creating good images for Etsy sales, and creating good descriptions, and you do all that, right? And then you dive into specifics about how to picture for jewelry and how to create titles for jewelry, and you go into the specifics of marketing jewelry on Etsy, okay? And then you reuse the entire front half of the course on a different niche course. And what you're doing is you're taking a very specific question and you're answering it, and you're reusing a lot of material so that your overall investment is low, but your output is great. So that's how I'm looking at creating courses on Udemy, is by answering niche problems. Like I said, my first course was flipping things on eBay because nobody had a solution to that. There's a lot of drop shipping and, you know, eBay SEO and eBay this and eBay that, but nobody taught anyone how to flip things on eBay. So I decided to. And then the second course was how to make sales on Instagram, and nobody taught that, so I decided to. And using those things, I could really easily reuse some material for an eBay dropshipping course or an SEO course, or I could reuse some of the material for an Instagram branding course. You know, and the whole idea is how many really high quality courses can you put out while not killing yourself? And that's where I'm at. So, you know, I hope that gave you a little insight, and I will catch up with you on the flip side here. So thanks. This is kind of what I call my Udemy Niche Solution Method for creating and finding course ideas. Okay, I'll talk to you.